Here's a 3x ROAS we got for a high ticket service. $400,000 in ad spend, 1.2 million in sales. Here's another one, 17,000 in ad spend, 112,000 in sales. That's a 656 ROAS. Each one of these businesses and hundreds of others have used this one formula to accurately project a 3x, 4x, and sometimes even a 10x return on ad spend without wasting thousands of dollars on ads that don't work. My name is Jake Larson. I'm the founder of Video Power Marketing. And while you might not recognize me, chances are you've seen some of our work. If you've ever seen a YouTube ad from Tony Robbins or Viore or Wealth Builders, Wealth Factory or Fample, there's a good chance that our team at Video Power Marketing was behind it.
I think we spent like $25K in YouTube in the first month, turned it into like 100,000 plus.
They have saved us hundreds of thousands of dollars. You heard that right.
They continue to blow my mind with their advanced strategies. If you get the opportunity to work with Jake and his team, I know you won't be disappointed.
Video Power Marketing is the only ads team that has ever been able to run ads profitably for me and my company, and very, very profitably at that.
I am so elated that I feel like it was just divine that Video Power Marketing's name came across my desk at the right time. And honestly, I wish I had known about you all much sooner.
Now, I'm not telling you this to impress you. I'm showing this to you to impress upon you that there is a proven method that you can use to create ad campaigns that bring in a consistent flow of qualified leads, customers, and clients into your business. No more agencies that overpromise and underdeliver. No more video ads that take weeks to produce and take all your marketing budget. You can leverage this battle-tested formula that we've used for over the last 12 years to manage over $100 million in ad spend that has tracked over $300 million in sales for 8-figure businesses. And it doesn't matter whether you're in coaching or consulting, e-commerce, finance, or real estate, it's worked in all of those industries. Because behind every successful campaign, there's a metric that a surprising amount of business leaders and marketing executives don't fully understand, and a horrifying amount of ad agencies don't optimize for. But here's the thing. Over the past 12 years, I've asked business leaders and marketing executives if they actually know what their current ROAS is. And they either don't know it or they don't know how to optimize for it. The problem isn't that these executives are bad at their job or they should get fired. The problem is they don't understand the 3 metrics that go into performance math. And even if they do know these 3 metrics, they don't know which ones to fix first and how, which is why we built the 3x ROAS Calculator. It uses performance math to break down your ROAS into 3 levers that actually determine your profitability: your cost per click, your conversion rate, and your average order value. Once you see those numbers, you can finally diagnose why your ads aren't scaling, and the calculator will recommend exactly what to fix first and how, turning your video ads into an evergreen asset that turns $1 in ad spend into $3 in sales. Let me show you using one of our clients, Liz, as an example. Liz is a business coach, and she came to us after a drop in performance of her ads. She realized she needed to try something new, but wasn't sure if video ads would be profitable for her and her high-ticket service. We first started working with her. Her conversion rate was 1.7. Her booked call rate was like 10%, and only 10% of the people were working with her. So we plugged these numbers in, or like, you know what? The conversion rate is really low. How do we fix that? Let's improve our targeting. The purchase rate was low. How do we improve the quality of the applicant? We need to nurture the leads. So we implemented this checklist. And then on the ad side, her ads were getting like a 0.75% click-through rate. So that was really low. How do we improve that? We have an ad creative checklist that we implemented, and we upgraded her ads. So after we made those changes, she was pretty much losing money. For every $1 spent on ads, she was only making $3.34 basically, losing money. But once we made those changes, she got a 5% conversion rate. She was able to get 20% of those people to book calls, and she was getting a 30% purchase. And then on the ad, the click-through rate went from 0.8 to 1.2. And now look what happened. We spend $10,000 on ads, and we were getting 165 qualified applicants. The cost per app was around 62. 32 booked calls. Her cost per booked call was around $300. And she was getting basically a client for around $1,000. She made $96,000 in revenue. Her average return on ad spend was $960, around 9x, 10x ROAS. And this was this proven model. We proved it with the 10,000, and once this was working and we were seeing the money come through, we then increased this to 25,000 in ad spend. and you can see what happens on the projections. Getting more applications, she had 80 booked calls. She was getting so many applicants and booked calls, she had to hire 2 more salespeople to handle all the workload. She was spending $25,000 on ads, making $240,000, $250,000 in revenue, consistently getting that 10x ROAS. And this happened month after month for years. Every business buys attention. Whether it's YouTube, Google, Facebook, you're paying for eyeballs. And when you buy those eyeballs through ads, there are 3 numbers that determine whether that attention turns into revenue. So with ROAS, this determines how efficient you're spending, right? You all have ad spend, you're buying eyeballs, you're buying clicks, and the goal is to turn those eyeballs into revenue. So there's 3 metrics that will impact the ROAS. First one is your cost per click. How much does it cost you to get somebody to watch your ad and click on it and get them to your website? The second metric is your conversion rate. What is the percentage of your website visitors that will turn into buyers? And the third key metric is your average order value. How much is a client or customer worth to you? And if you know these 3 metrics, you can determine what your return on the ad spend will be. So if you're paying a high cost per click and you have a low conversion rate, there's no way that you can get the return on ad spend. Ideally, you want a low cost per click, a high conversion rate, and a high average order value. One of the cool things, though, is what determines your cost per click. Well, this gets advanced, right? Your cost per click is determined by your cost per impression and your click-through rate. So if you have a high cost per click, chances are your audience or your messaging is off, right? Your audience or your ad creative. If your ad creative crushes it, you're going to have a high click-through rate, which will lower your cost per click. Now, whether you're selling a $7 product or a $25,000 program, the same math applies. Now, when you combine those 3 numbers in our performance math formula, you can predict your return on ad spend before you launch your campaign. And that's what the 3x ROAS calculator does. You'd be surprised how many CEOs and CMOs don't actually know these 3 numbers. But don't worry, you don't have to know them either, because the calculator automatically runs the math for you. So even if you don't know your exact cost per click or your overall conversion rate, the 3x calculator uses ad campaign benchmarks pulled from over 12 years of data and $100 million in managed spend. It calculates your ROAS and instantly shows you how each metric stacks up against our benchmarks. Green means your numbers are strong and scalable. Yellow means you're close, but you've got some room to improve. And red means your performance is below benchmark and needs attention before scaling. In other words, even if you don't have all the data, the calculator gives you a clear picture of where you stand and what needs to change to hit that 3x return. For example, if your cost per click is too high, it's usually a targeting or creative problem. If your conversion rate is low, it's typically an offer or landing page issue. And if your AOV is low, that's a pricing or product packaging opportunity. And once you know where the leak is, you know exactly how to fix it, and your profits will scale accordingly. This is the same diagnostic process we've used with clients like Tony Robbins, Dan Martell, Billie Jean, Laser Away, Viore, and hundreds more. So before you run another ad, guess at your numbers, or even worse, waste thousands of dollars on a campaign that was doomed from the start. Run your metrics through the 3x ROAS calculator first, and it will show you in seconds if your business is ready for $1 million video ads.